Gun reforms face tough opposition at the Minnesota State Capitol this year. Proposals include banning assault-style weapons, something other states have passed. In tonight's Good Question, Jeff Wagner looks into whether those restrictions have an impact on gun violence in America.
A push for stricter gun laws in Minnesota is not new. However, this session comes on the heels of a devastating mass shooting last summer in which the target was students in prayer at Annunciation Catholic School. The suspected shooter was armed with several guns, including an assault-style rifle. One of the victim's parents implored lawmakers to ban such weapons.
There's an opportunity here to slow down the carnage between that first shot and the approach of the first responder.
11 states in the U.S. and Washington, D.C. have banned assault-style weapons. All of them, plus 3 more states, have banned high-capacity magazines. The goal of these bans is to reduce the number of mass shootings and reduce the number of victims when one occurs. So what happens when assault-style weapons and high-capacity magazines are banned? Good question.
There is some limited evidence that they might reduce the incidence of mass shootings or the number of fatalities in mass shootings.
Andrew Morale investigated this topic extensively for RAND, a research nonprofit. He helped author RAND's detailed report, The Science of Gun Policy, analyzing several studies and available data.
The high-capacity magazine ban that often accompanies these laws does seem like it would reduce the number of bullets that can be shot in a short period of time.
There was a time when assault-style weapons were banned nationwide from 1994 to 2004. One study found that after the ban expired, the number of high-fatality mass shootings per year tripled and the number of deaths quadrupled. The tough part here is there are also studies that found the bans did not reduce the number of mass shootings and that access to the guns remained possible whether they were grandfathered in or purchased in a non-banned state.
And then, of course, the firearm industry modified the weapons that were banned in ways that made them no longer banned and then started selling them again.
To get around manufacturing bans, gun makers often move their operations, including workers, to more gun-friendly states. Smith & Wesson left Massachusetts in 2021 for Tennessee. Magpul, which makes high-capacity magazines, left Colorado for Wyoming in 2014. As states like Minnesota debate whether these bans should become law, Morale hopes more research is done to understand their impact.
Between 1996 and 2018, the federal government wasn't paying for any research on this topic. And so we are stuck looking at a fairly limited amount of literature on this topic.
Jeff Wagner, WCCO News.
Congress ended the federal freeze on gun research a few years ago. Since then, it has allocated $25 million a year to study gun violence. If you have a good question for Jeff, you can send him an email by visiting WCCO.com.